dialogue on the role of astronomy in the COVID era. We are going live from the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand, public organization, our headquarters here in Chiang Mai, Thailand. We hope everybody doing safe and well during this pandemic across the globe. With the attempt to prevent the pandemic to spread further, NARIT, through its Regional Office of Astronomy for Development, this is called C-Road, NARIT is trying to ensure that we are doing the best we can and how we can do it through astronomy in order to prevent such pandemic. So this is our very first webinar that is going live from NARIT through our Regional Office of C-Road under IAU OAD. Like I said earlier, this dialogue is trying to create a platform in order to initiate and match partners from across the globe who's working in astronomy and related fields of sciences in order to get together and discuss the possibilities, how we can cope with this pandemic in the future. So in order to do that, we have brought together numerous specialists, astronomers, engineers, scientists who are working in this related fields of astronomy to discuss in this online platform in order to create the future initiatives for the sake of humankind across this globe. I would like to shout out to all of our audiences from across the world. We have over 100 participants registered for this webinar. So we hope that this is not going to be the last webinar, but instead the first to continue on and go on further. Then you can see hopefully right at the end of this webinar how astronomy can do to the world. If you haven't noticed, many technology and innovation have spread it out of the attempt to reach further into our universe. Wi-Fi, for example, you will be hearing a lot more about what we do at the office of NARIT in Thailand. For example, the ventilator machine that is contributing towards this COVID pandemic, and also how the technology that emerged out of astronomy will contribute to the global arena in the long run. A few rules to remind you from the very beginning: if you wish to ask questions, this Zoom channel provides you the channel to do so through the chat box. So if you would just type in your question, we'll have some people collecting your questions or comments even, and then we'll be asking to your speakers on your behalf right after your speakers have finished their lecture. So in that case, it doesn't confuse everybody because we have too many people joining. So that would be the best way. If your questions or comments are not being uttered, you may raise your hands. We do have the raise hands button on Zoom that enable you to bring us basically, and then we'll read out your comments and questions directly to your speakers. Right. If you're wondering what is C-Road, C-Road is the office, the regional office in Southeast Asia that NARIT is hosting on behalf of the IAU OAD, which is the Office of Astronomy for Development. So our main aims for this webinar is to develop many aspects of astronomy, education, technology, engineering. We have so many different types of benefits that if you pay close attention to, hopefully in the end, you see how regional cooperation is being forged out of this attempt. This webinar will last approximately 2.5 hours. So if you can stay tuned from different corners of the globe, we would be greatly appreciated. And of course, you can interact with us through the chat box. Our very first speaker, the section 1, under the name Astronomy as a Tool for Fight Against COVID. The keynote speaker will be talking about astronomers' action in the world. Her name is Dr. Marie Kurzaga. She is an OAD fellow, which is the Office of Astronomy for Development. She will be contributing to us on the aspect of astronomers' action in the world. So this is the direct and first-hand experience what astronomers actually contribute to the world across amidst this pandemic. A little bit briefing about Marie. Marie is an astronomer from Burkina Faso. She completed her PhD in astrophysics from the University of Cape Town and Aix-Marseille University. Her research area focuses on the formation and evolution of galaxies, particularly on the distribution of dark matter in the galaxies. So this is the direct contribution of astronomy towards this pandemic. So without further ado, I would like to bring in Dr. Marie, who is already here with us to speak to us on astronomers' action in the world.
So, thank you. It's my pleasure to join you on this webinar and to speak about the role played by astronomers in the fight against the pandemic. First of all, I would like to remind that the Office of Astronomy for Development is a joint project of the International Astronomical Union and the South African National Research Foundation, with the mission of funding and coordinating projects that use astronomy as a tool to address issues related to sustainable development. And besides its own activity, the office has since 2013 funded more than 160 projects through the annual call for proposals. And in the fight against the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, the OAD has so far funded more than 40 projects that use astronomy to address some of the issues caused by COVID-19. So coming back to my talk, I would like to share my screen. Proposals. And in the fight against the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, the OAD has so far funded more than 40 projects that use astronomy to address some of the issues caused by COVID-19. So coming back to my talk, I'd like to share my screen. So 8 months after the first case of COVID-19 was reported, the disease has rapidly become a global pandemic and is continuing to grow across the world. So scientists estimate that up to 40% of people who are infected with the coronavirus can transmit the virus to others before showing symptoms or without ever having symptoms of disease. So according to the latest data, more than 23 million people worldwide have tested positive for COVID-19, with over 800,000 confirmed deaths so far. And those numbers are continuing to grow with over 200,000 daily cases. And since treatment and vaccines are still being actively researched, different procedures have been used to limit the widespread infection of the virus, while a proper cure is being developed. So to date, the most safe and effective way to minimize and prevent the spread of COVID-19 is to adopt social distancing, frequent hand washing and use of hand sanitizer, wear masks, stay at home for policies for non-essential businesses, etc. So in addition to slow the ongoing pandemic and lessen the disease damage, scientists are working together to help understand the spread of the disease, increase healthcare capacity, and develop vaccines and treatment. So in this talk, the presentation will be divided in 3 parts. So the first section will be talking about, I will present a synthesis of activities played by the astronomy community. And the first section will be focused on the hardware project. The second section will be focused on the modeling, and the last section on the public awareness activities and education. So data has shown that approximately 6% of people infected with COVID-19 become severely sick and therefore require breathing assistance. So this has created a worldwide demand for ventilators, and a number of astronomers have taken up the challenge and decided to make available their knowledge and resources to produce new technology, safe and low-cost ventilators in order to help the medical community address the shortage of ventilators. For example, the first example, it's you can see on the left-hand side image. In South Africa, the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition mandated SARAO, which stands for South African Radio Astronomy Observatory, to manage the National Ventilator Project, NVP. And the ventilator design is based on the experience that SARAO team has gained in the development and construction of the Meerkat radio telescope, which is a precursor to SKA, the largest radio telescope in the world. And for the success of the project, the team worked in collaboration with other astronomers and engineers at SAO, which stands for South African Astronomy Observatory, and SALT, the South African Large Telescope. And the aim is to help patients get oxygen by pumping air into their lungs with non-invasive local design ventilators. And this will help to treat the majority of hospitalized stricken cases in South Africa. So in France, the Laboratory for Space Science and Astrophysical Instrumentation, LESIA, and the Paris Observatory have manufactured valves. These are connecting pieces to transform Decathlon diving mask into a respirator for hospitals. Also in Italy, Dr. Cristiano Galdiati, who is an expert on the search for dark matter particles, worked in collaboration with physicists, engineers around the world to develop and program a simple ventilator called the mechanical ventilator Milano. And that could easily be manufactured and run with just oxygen or medical air and electricity. And for the success of the project, they used their expertise in creating very complex systems with gases for particle physics. And a very interesting important characteristic of the ventilator is its simplicity of its mechanical design, which allow for rapid production. Also in Canada, Dr. Archer MacDonald is Professor Emeritus in Physics and Astronomy at Queen's University, and also a 2015 Nobel laureate in physics, worked in collaboration with other physicists around the world to design and manufacture ventilators that provides a controlled supply of oxygen and air to COVID-19 stricken patients. And also the design of the ventilators was derived from the collective expertise in the design of gas handling and electronic control system used on the search for dark matter, which represents more than 90% of the universe. So the goal is to develop a ventilator model to meet current needs that can be constructed quickly and naturally low cost in Canada and also in other countries. Again, in the US, to help defeat the coronavirus that has now killed more than 170,000 people, the NASA used its personnel and technologies to develop VITAL, which stands for Ventilator Intervention Technology Accessible Locally. And this high pressure ventilator could assist patients who require breathing assistance. And once again, the VITAL ventilator design is simpler and faster to build than the conventional ventilator and naturally low cost. So These 5 examples about the design of ventilators show that astronomers are deeply involved to assist the healthcare workers with medical devices, and other hardware projects have also been conducted to assist the healthcare personnel and the population. So we have, for example, the NASA worked in collaboration with other companies on a decontamination system called Ambustat. And this system was developed 5 years ago and was initially used to distribute droplets of sterilizing fluid for rapid decontamination of ambulances and other vehicles. But with the new version of the system, it can be used to disinfect surfaces as well as kill pathogens such as coronavirus. So, in Tanzania, astronomers as students from NARIT University of Science and Technology have developed a solar power activated hand washing system in order to help reduce the spread of the virus in the country. So you can see it on the right hand side image. And it is important to note that this is one of the COVID-19 projects that OAD has funded through its extraordinary call for COVID-19 related proposals. So also in Australia, an astrophysicist and an engineer created a proximity detector device that can give out warning when 2 people are closer to each other than the recommended safety limits. So this is the last example from the hardware project that I've shown. So let's move to the next session, which is about the modeling. So it is important to know that many astronomers are using their computing resources to simulate the coronavirus and are also working with epidemiologists to model simulation of contamination in order to help understand the initial condition of the pandemic and help focus the future evolution of COVID-19 outbreak. And in this section, I'm going to present 6 examples. So firstly, in the US, researchers at University of Utah in the Department of Physics and Astronomy created individual synthetic coronavirus particle without a genome in order to study the structure of the new coronavirus. So creating the virus without a genome makes it incapable of infection or replication. And this can help track the behavior of the virus under various environmental conditions, such as the changing season, air conditions, offices, etc. And the idea is to figure out what makes the virus fall apart and what makes it die. Secondly, the Charles W. Brown Planetarium at Ball State University is contributing also to the fight against the pandemic by volunteering its supercomputers to run Rosetta at home. And this is a computing project for predicting the protein structure of the virus behind COVID-19 in order to help scientists understand the structure of the new coronavirus. Also in India, researchers at the Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics developed a cell phone app to help detect and ensure rapid and proper treatment to comorbid COVID-19 patients. We also have the computing resources of the Ice Cube Neutrino Observatory, which are being used to simulate the protein folding of SARS-CoV-2. And this simulation will help researchers understand the virus protein folds, the virus protein, how it folds into 3D dimensional shape, and how how it reproduces, how the virus reproduces. And this is very important to understand and to the virus and to develop new treatments to fight against it. So the first example, we have the UK Space Agency and the international partnership, the European Space Agency, the ESA, who are working together to help medical staff around the world and to provide the best possible care for all patients using satellite space technologies such as satellite communication, health observation satellites, or a technology derived from human space flights, etc. So, and to finish with the modeling side, many labs in France have printed visors using 3D printer to help healthcare personnel. And the CNRS, the Centre National de la Recherche Scientifique, expressed a need for specialists in simulations, and most astronomers have responded to this call and are working with epidemiologists to model simulation to COVID-19. And many similar studies were conducted by astronomers and have also been done, conducted by astronomers have also been done around the world. And you can find interesting studies published by Prof. Bassett, Daddy and Tal, Arco and Tal, etc. So let's now explore the last section of this talk, which it's about the education and public awareness. So, as most people are still confined to their home, so to help parents with their children, a number of astronomers have shifted their attention to provide free online resources by offering daily astronomy activities, publishing guidelines for the general public. For example, in India, a group of scientists, including astronomers, published guidelines to answer scientifically some of the questions related to slow and prevent the spread of COVID-19. And the particularity of these guidelines is that they are available in many Indian language, local language, and taking into account the local living condition that sometimes make the physical distancing difficult for the population. We also have a NASA Space App COVID-19 Challenge in collaboration with other companies who are in collaboration with other partners working on a global hackathon, which regroup are organizing a global hackathon which regroup scientists around the world to solve challenges related to COVID-19 using space-based data. Also, the Imilo Astronomy Center in Hawaii has launched Imilo at Home, which is a very interesting project because they offer free online resources to remotely learn about astronomy topics such as black hole, the moon, constellations, satellite, etc. And we also have a training program called Astro at Home, and which run by astronomers in Canada. And the platform offers also free online astronomy activities for children staying at home due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the last example, so astronomers at the University of Maine have started using the planetarium to contribute to the fight against COVID-19 by displaying the protein and the viral structure on the dome. And the planetarium has also found a way to be leveraged into a national system that towards a possible vaccines. So that's the last example, the activities. So to conclude, so all these activities show the incredible impact that astronomy can have on our society, and the tool developed through this crisis will be useful to face future pandemics. And it is now important more than ever that the search for solutions should not be exclusively left to the health specialists. And the different scientific contributions show that all science is necessary and useful in daily life and can become more efficient, open, and collaborative in time of crisis. So the list of activities that I presented in this presentation is not exhaustive. And so for more information, please have a look on the link below. So thank you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Marie, for your wonderful and very informative presentation on the attempt to prevent the spread of the pandemic. It's very interesting to see that the OAD has actually developed so many projects to fight against the COVID-19. And also this year, I believe there are several special projects that are directly funded in order to prevent the direct attempt of the spread of the coronavirus. So which is very wonderful. And also, as you mentioned about the 13 offices that operating across the globe, I think this would be a very interesting platform to see when the regional offices are merged together in order to work on something to prevent the pandemic. We have a few questions from home. The first question from Hakim Malasan from Indonesia. He asks whether are there distinct discriminator on the percentage of support by government or agencies compared to the projects that initiated by in a bottom-up way with regard to the three categories?
Sorry, can you come again?
Right. Are there distinct discriminator on the percentage of support by the government or other agencies when comparing to projects that are initiated in bottom-up way with regard to the three categories? So projects are, bottom down from governments or other agencies, and then bottom up in a different direction.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I can say, like, government, maybe the percentage of support by government or agency, there will be more focus on the healthcare specialists. So, but yeah, with the pandemic, we, for example, with the activity that I presented in this presentation, show that it's not, we cannot just leave the fight to the healthcare specialists, but all science, all this, I can say all other work, yeah, basically can also contribute to the fight against the pandemic. So what I can say is, yes, there is a discrimination, but with the COVID, we realized that we need to invest in a lot of projects, in a lot of area of studies, and not just focus on certain areas of studies.
Right. So we have one more question, maybe perhaps the last one in here. It's interesting that you mentioned so many different projects that initiated by astronomers from different companies and from different countries. For example, the National Ventilators Project from SARO, the mechanical ventilator in Italy, from Paris, from Queen's University in Canada, and NASA itself has initiated different projects. Has there been any attempt to merge these ventilator project to be a regional project that could contribute in the larger scale to the people in order to prevent the pandemic? Or is it done only at this moment only at the national level? Or do you see any possible collaborations from this project in the future?
Yes, I can say I see different many collaboration about this project, because if you take the example of mechanical ventilator Milano, which and the local ventilator that they are designing, manufacture in Canada, I think they working on collaboration, because they started in Milano with the mechanical ventilator Milano, and then they collaborate with other partners around the world, that's including Canada and other countries like France and etc. So I can say it's like something, it starts national, but it's become international with the time. And also, I think the example that I gave in South Africa, the NVP, the National Ventilator Project, it's something that will be manufactured in South Africa, but with the future, they want to extend it in other African countries. It's not just in South Africa. So it's can be like international also, because we want obviously to fight against the pandemic, which is global.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll be waiting to see more international collaborations emerging out of these wonderful ventilator projects from different countries, and hopefully that we can contribute more or less on behalf of the OAD and astronomers itself in Thailand to get in touch with you. Right. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Marie Kosaga, an OAD fellow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. So up next, still under the section 1 in astronomy as a tool to fight against COVID, from NARIT's homegrown researchers and engineers will be bringing you the insights of NARIT's ventilator project. You have heard that different countries, especially in the field of astronomy, are trying to come up with a project in order to provide and to stop this pandemic to go further. So I think ventilators are one of the greatest instrument in order to prevent that. And so NARIT is doing just that as well here with our homegrown ventilator project. So you'll be hearing from Pakawat Prasit and Pirapong Tatika, who are working directly in this ventilator project of NARIT. So they'll show you some insights and what they are doing here at NARIT in Thailand. So we'll give the floor to them.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pakawat Prasit and Dr. Pirapong Tatika. We are an engineer from the ventilator development. and okay, so I'm going to start this presentation with our collaborations that help us to develop the ventilator. We have many organizations that come to see us in our laboratory and help us to build the ventilator that like the communications and the mechanical design and something like that. So yeah, we work a lot with them. And I'm going to go through the developments from the first versions of our ventilator. Our ventilator, we try to prove the concept of the how to say it, of the low cost ventilator, as we can see, or we can have the information from the internet. The EMBU bag versions that we are developing is the proof of the concept that it's like a hand that press on the EMBU bag and push the pressure to the patients. And in these versions, we found that it's quite very difficult to maintain the pressure to patients, so that we decided to stop development on this version, and we are moving on to the next type of the ventilator. Here it is. This is the type 2 ventilator. The type 2 ventilator is like we use like the outside pressure, like a pump outside to pump the air and the pressure to patient, and then we control the valve that will on and off, and we trying to maintain the pressure to the patients. In this version, we found that the pressure that we try to maintain is also possible to make. As you can see here is we have like two valve. Here is the valve for input, and here is here is the valve for input, and here is the valve for the exhaust. And we use like a microcontroller to control the valves. In this version, we can prove that it's possible to do the pressure control, but not very precise, so that we has been designed the next versions that the pressure control will be one of the key technology that we have to develop, and another technology that we need to develop also is the volume control. So it will be possible to develop in the type of the type 3. Okay, here is the type 3. We aim to have the volume control here in the type 3 for monitor how much of the air that will be pumped to the patients. We monitor the air flow by using this device here. This is the flow meter. It can be measurement the pressure and flow sensor and volume that flow to the air system. So we use 4 valves to control the pressure and the air. This concept is also possible to make but it's still difficult to control the airflow. Exactly airflow, because the ventilator for the COVID-19 patients, we need to we allow an error for pump an air to the patient is should not greater than 25%, so that we need very accurate sensor, and we need accurate controller to control the valves, so that we found that in this version that is quite complex to have many valves here, and it should have more like a bigger valves to control the flow. So we decided to make a new version here. This is the third version. The third version here is we use a bigger valve and only one valve for input and only one valve for our exhaust, so that it's a lot easier to control the valve. This valve, we use a solenoid valve to control the pressure and the flow to the patients. As you can see here is the solenoid valve here that control in an air from input, and we have the flow sensor here. Then power on the solenoid valve, and then airflow here, oxygen, and the system go here, and we use the flow meter to measurement how many or how much air that has been pumped to the system, and then go to the lung. After that, go out here, and then measurement again by flow sensor, and then pressure sensor, something like that, and then go to the exhaust valve and go out. This is the basic diagram that we try to design at our ventilator in version 3. So all controlled by microcontroller. The microcontroller in this version is like a key of the system, because the microcontroller is like a brain that control all entire of the system, so it cannot be failed. We use like automobile grade for the controller, and we also developed the protocol that made the communications here to go to the computer. We use the computer to as like a monitoring system, like a plotting the graph and showing the graphic button and something like that. So we have the protocol. We build it in house, and it's very fast protocol. So our engineer can monitor the data in real time, and we quite a bit concerned about the real time data, so that we would like to know every characteristic on the system, that what is going on at that time, so we can we can expect that it is a problem or not, something like that. For the microcontroller here, we use many algorithms that derive from our telescope. We used to develop the control algorithm that Dr. Pirapong will explain more detail about that. So that the algorithm that we use is from our astronomical instruments, so that we relied to the microcontroller here to control the valve and to control the entire of the system. And that's very accurate. Here is the version 3 hardware. This is an air circuit here. This is the air will come to this way, and this valve, and go through the flow sensor here, and go to the lung. Then lung go back to the system, and the flow sensor in output, then the valve, and then go out. So this is a very simple concept that we try to prove that is work or not. And this is electronic delay controller and the microcontroller here. Okay, this is the interface. We developed the interface for the version 3 in the computers. We try to see that the characteristic of all sensor that we that run in the system. So we can monitor the pressure, the flow, and the volume inside the system, and we can adjust the parameters here to see what's going on the system. Then for the version 3, we found that the valve that we use to control an air, it is not accurate enough. So we decided to change the valve to another kind of the valve, is the proportional valve. The proportional valve itself, like it's like a tap that we can adjust how much of the water that we need, or something like that. So we can adjust the volume. So basically say, so here we put we change the solenoid valve from the version 3 to the proportional valve here, and we change both proportional valve for input and for exhaust also. Oh, sorry, this is input and this is exhaust. Sorry, and the rest of the systems is almost the same. Not much change. So after we try to change the valve to the proportional valve, and actually we also change the mechanical design to be to look like the real thing, the real ventilator in the hospital. So we develop we develop the mechanical design for study. We use the plastic as the frame, and we also developed the PCB board to control all the sensor, and also the computers and the microcontroller here. And we also have like a air buffer here to try to keep the pressure stable. And this is the exiting version that we are working on this. And as you can see here, this is like a many flow. We put the many flow here because we like to test another kind of the sensor. So it will allow us to put the sensor here very easier by unbolt this bolt and then put the new sensors here, so we can experiment more. Right, this is version 4. So in the version 4, we found that the proportional valve that we are using it's a little bit small. So we aim to have a bigger one. But here in the middle of the COVID-19 time like this, so it's very difficult to find the valve. Many countries, they're trying to keep it inside the country, so we cannot order and we cannot we cannot buy. Yeah. So yeah, but we try to keep it in the plan. So now we only have the small valve, and we can control only like a like the volume control can be only 500 milliliter, right? So just that, so that is not, we know that it's not enough for the adult people, so that we just try to prove the concept, so that let's see if we can have the big one. So here is the electronics design for our ventilator, exceeding ventilator. So this is the pressure sensor here, and this is the input for flow sensors, pressure sensors, flow sensors, and the valve control, something like that. And I would like to say that we design in-house in NARIT. So Dr. Virupong will give you more information for the control system.
Yes, okay. For the control system of the mechanical ventilator for the first version, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I can say that the ventilator that developed in NARIT, we have maybe 3 months, right? 4 months, exactly, because we have the experience for experience on the design or the mounting of the telescope.
Yeah.
We can say that this algorithm we duplicate from the mounting of the telescope control system. That we have the control system in the two loop. The inner loop is the flow rate control, like a speed control in the telescope, and the outer loop is the volume control, is the like a position control of the telescope. This loop we apply for the like a satellite tracking to develop the mounting of the telescope more in the detail of the technology for the space. Yes, for this loop we have the successful to control the volume of the air and then expire to the lung of the patient. And another one is very important is the approximate of the PEEP. The PEEP is the mean is the positive and exploratory pressure. In order to anti-activation for the patient, we use the algorithm that normally apply for the space technology. We call the state estimation. The name is the Kalman filter. For this algorithm, normally we have the 5 equations. For the equation that show on the right hand side, we can detect the change point of the signal. After that, we integrated back to approximate the PEEP for the patient. This is very important that we apply the algorithm for the space technology to the medical ventilator. This is when we design, we have to design a graphic user interface friendly. Yes, not engineering model because to see it's really difficult. Yes, yeah. To interface with the clinician. Our UI have 4 parts. The first part is patient status to show the numeric of the parameter that we concern. And another one is the trend. This based on the time series. Another one is the temperature or humidity of the air. And then the setting parameter for the clinician, like an input. We have the quick video, the short one to show how our mechanical ventilator working. This is a signal from the directly from the sensor, and then we change by using the mathematical model to our microcontroller. Okay, for this step, for the next step, we will move to we use the artificial lung.
Yeah.
For the next step, we will test
For
for
the artificial lungs.
for our lung. Okay. For the animal first, and then to the patient.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, one quick question. You mentioned from the beginning of your project of NARIT's homegrown ventilator that there have been certain visits from the medical organizations in Chiang Mai, from the Faculty of Medicine and universities itself. So has there been any feedbacks from them as well on how the ventilators will be further developed, or maybe would you work with them in the future to advance in this attempt to make the ventilators possible, maybe in hospitals or in clinic or in university?
Yes, we have a contact from the vegetarian Chiang Mai University. Yep, so that they prefer that we can test our ventilator with animal. Yeah, so but after before that, so we need to test with the what do you use that to the
Animal.
no
Artificial lungs.
Artificial lungs.
Yes,
Yeah. So we need to prove that is work with the artificial lungs. Then we move on to the animal. So yeah, it could be possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, looking forward on that, and I hope that works very well, so we can see the ventilators from NARIT in the reality and possibly in the hospitals. Who knows? So thank you so much, Mr. Pakawat and Mr. Pirapong, for your wonderful lecture on the NARIT ventilator.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that was a wrap for section 1, how astronomy as a tool to fight against COVID-19. Now we are moving on to the section 2. This is a little utopia, futuristic attempt as what's going to happen, or some of them already happening right now as the post-COVID-19 era, what it's going to be like, our technology, our innovation and developments that we're doing now, how would it sustain our future after the COVID is going out? So our first speaker for this section, again from NARIT Homegrown, he is the executive director of NARIT, Dr. Saran Posuyatchinda. He will be talking to you about the astronomical technology for development that NARIT is doing. Please, Dr. Saran.
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I'm Saran, talking to you here from Chiang Mai, the headquarters of the National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand, or NARIT. I'd like to share with you some idea of where we're going, where we're heading right now in the post-COVID, or what is our plan for post-COVID era. First of all, Thailand is an emerging economy, very similar to several countries in South Asia. We have to rely a lot on tourism more than the neighboring countries. And during the widespread of this pandemic, all of a sudden, 40 million or so tourists disappear this year. And the income from tourism industry in Thailand accounts almost to a fifth of the GDP. That's why Thailand is now having this problem bigger than the rest of the region of Southeast Asia, even though we have only a small number of patients. I'd like to remind you that Thailand is the first country to identify this COVID patient outside of China back in January. But so far, the government has been controlling the spread of this disease very, very well, extremely well. And the number of patients we have now just a little over 3,000, with 58 people died so far. However, the economy is shrinking very fast due to the lack of tourism, and even the export that we rely a lot every year also shrinking pretty fast. At NARIT, from the beginning, we see astronomy as a very big challenge for doing human capacity building as well as technology development. You all know, I think we talking to this astronomy community, we all see the importance of astronomy, even though it's a frontier science. We see the importance in the sense that all frontier science areas contribute to the development of high technology, and some even change the world, like digital camera or Wi-Fi or some medical devices. So we following the same path as our colleagues in the more developed nations. At NARIT, we do research, of course, and that's more like physics and cosmology and things like that, and we publish a lot of papers. In this regard, a lot of people see very little importance of astronomy for the development of emerging economy like Thailand. But at the same time, especially right now, we focusing a lot on technology development. Technology development and astronomy goes hand in hand, because without development of deeper and deeper technology, we stand no chance to discover new things, and therefore limit the capability of our astronomers. That's why we've been working hard on this field of technology development. We also do a lot of outreach, public outreach, to create understanding, and of course we work together with domestic and international organizations. I'd like to skip this quickly. Some of you may already know that we operate several observatories, including this 2.4 meter telescope since 2012 on the top of the highest mountain in Thailand, Doi Inthanon, in the province of Chiang Mai. Over there, we have this 2.4 meter as well as another 1 meter class telescope. We also in the process of setting up this 40 meter radio telescope just on the outskirts of the city of Chiang Mai. This is a a very big project indeed, and it's been delayed by the pandemic for a few months. Now we hope that this will see the first light early next year, getting close to completion now. And we also operate a number of smaller telescopes installed outside of Thailand through the internet. Let's talk a little bit about technology development we are working right now at NARIT. We're focusing on these 5 areas related to astronomy. Of course, optics and photonics, very important for astronomy, as well as microwave technology, mechatronics, high precision machining, and high performance computing. We have optics lab here with clean rooms and very unique facilities in Southeast Asia to design and test optical instruments. We're working on several projects ranging from telescope design to spectroscopy to colonoscopy and adaptive optics. And for the optics group, will be divided into 2 labs, one in the north in Chiang Mai for astronomy and space applications, and the other lab in the south for photonic solutions and industrial applications. For the microwave technology, we right now developing receivers and backends together with our friends, with our colleagues in the more developed or more advanced organizations like these 2 receivers. We're working with Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy in Bonn, Germany. Very close to completion now. For mechatronics, we working we're focusing a lot on control system. We expecting to replace the control system of the 2.4 meter with our own developed electronics and software next year. And this gives us a lot of experience. And you probably have already heard that the development of this control system have already contributed to the development of ventilator for the medical applications. We right now working and trying to improve the capability for machining parts at NARIT to the highest precision possible. Right now we can guarantee 20 micron accuracy for most of the parts produced here, including contribution to the medical society. This is a project that we working with the local hospital on producing artificial limbs and what is called knee joint and hip joint. Yes. Let me skip this. You've already seen this ventilator project. And together with other organizations under the same ministry, we working on the design and development of a small satellite also. We're talking about 100 kilogram satellite that we working with the Synchrotron Light Research Institute in Thailand, as well as the Geoinformatics and Space Technology Development Agency. For this first satellite, at NARIT, we designing and working on this hyperspectral imaging payload, which will be very crucial because this one cannot be procured from abroad, and the applications far-reaching than just a telescope on its on-board satellite. Thailand is now also a member of this CTA project out of 25 countries. And we do so by contributing our own design of sputtering chambers to the project worth around $3 million in order to record 6 or more thousand mirrors every 5 or 6 years. And most telescopes will be located in the desert in Chile. Therefore, the mirrors need to withstand sandblast from the desert. Well, that probably gives you some idea of what we're working right now and why I cited that this is for or going to be a big contributor to post-COVID era. This is because we have to focus more. I mean, we have to focus more on deeper and deeper technology industry. And the capacity building that NARIT is working on right now, not only for the NARIT staff, it also involves students from universities, technical colleges, and schools. So the development of this capacity among Thai people, among Thai younger generations, will help a lot in terms of gradually converting the economy to rely less and less on tourism and more conventional industry. We have to gradually move towards deeper technology or even ultra deep tech in the near future in order to overcome this kind of problem in terms of the advancement of the technology and the value added, the high value added products of the country. So we hope that even though NARIT is a small organization with only 150 staff, but we, if we work at our full capacity, involving hundreds or even thousands of people coming to join us in the process, this will give Thailand a chance to develop a better economy in order to withstand more crises in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saran. We have a question from our viewers from the Philippines. She wishes to know that how did you convince your government to invest in astronomy in this COVID era, that you say the economy is collapsing, the travel industry, but then how do you manage to still get funding from your government?
Well, this is a very good question indeed. As an emerging economy in itself, it's difficult to argue, to have a strong argument for astronomy, because a lot of the general public would think of astronomy as a useless field of research. But as you may have already seen, that working on astronomy alone is not enough. You have to develop technology hand in hand with the discovery or the scientific research. And this is what we trying to convince the government and the politicians, that working on frontier science is not useless at all, but on the contrary, it gives you a very good foundation to develop more capable people, because of the difficulty in itself, in the discipline itself. The more difficult the problem is, the better the capability of your staff will be in the future. And this is the argument we using for the politicians and government to support us. And in fact, next fiscal year, the budget that we'll get is comparable or even more than pre-COVID era. I think we have to, instead of slowing down investment in frontier science, we have to speed up or accelerate the investment. And some of the politicians now understand and see the importance of not only astronomy, but also the other fields of frontier science as well.
Right. So I hope that answered your questions from the Philippines. Even if you have some other questions, we'll ask him later on at the later stage. So for now, thank you so much, Dr. Saran, for your insights on what NARIT is contributing to the world.
Thank you.
All right, so up next, still on section 2, the post-COVID era, we have another NARIT homegrown outreach specialist who is working on various fields of astronomy in order to reach out to make it more inclusive and to the wider audience. His name is Mr. Sealun Sheng. He will be talking about the study of virus in astrobiology for science literacy, and also the astrotourism for building domestic tourism to support the economy. You heard Dr. Saran mentioning about how COVID affects the economy, and especially in Thailand, who rely so much on the world of tourism industry. So we'll be moving on to hear more a little bit on that, how we are contributing in that area. So if Selung, if you're ready, you can take the floor.
So thank you. So I'm very happy to speak on this occasion, and this is also a very difficult time for everyone. Thanks for joining us. So I picked these two topics because I think these two topics are very important in this time, especially when we are thinking about. So let's say Thailand now is still very lucky, because if you look at us, we don't wear face mask and we're sitting in the same room. I think it's very unlike the situation in the other parts of the world, because we control the COVID very well, and therefore we are actually already in the kind of post-COVID era already in Thailand. But the situation changed very rapidly, so no one really know what's happening, and probably the COVID will still continue for quite a long time, as because it's mutate very quickly. It will probably like flu, that the common flu that we have, and it will probably coexist with human being for a long time. So therefore, in this kind of situation, how we are going to cope with this, I think it's a very important thing. So first of all, I want to talk about astrobiology and what is it related. So one thing that is interesting about science or about virus. Okay, so it's that there's so many things that we don't know about virus. And people think about virus is something deadly and something actually affecting their life. And because of this, everyone know about virus because it's impact life so much. But the thing about virus research or the understanding of virus has actually changed quite a lot, especially in the recent decades, especially in the recent 10 years. So our view of virus and its relationship with astronomy has changed so much. And the fascinating thing is there's so many unknown questions that we want to answer. And this is science. We want to address science to understand the unknown. And there's so many fascinating things that we want to know. For example, the most common question that you will heard of is virus alive? And it's still a debating question. Maybe 10 years ago, most probably you will see people say, oh, virus is not alive because it's only DNA wrapped with a protein or RNA. But nowadays, actually, there are many discoveries saying that it's still an arguable question. And then whether virus is an early form of life, come from anywhere else beyond Earth, or can we find a very ancient fossil virus? Will there be is virus kind of driving evolution? Can they survive in space? Are they transported from space? Or even if we look at the problem of origin of life, if life originate already one time, can it originate multiple times? Is it still going on now? So this is actually some brainstorming questions that was discussed in 10 years ago in a workshop held by NASA. So these questions that you see here, actually most of them are still unanswered. Only one or two questions, probably we know the answer yet, but still we don't know. And this is the main thing that we want to talk about, science literacy. So now we are talking to a group of science communicators or people doing education and outreach. I don't really have to explain too much about the importance of science literacy, but how to address science literacy, I think is very important, and we need to find some examples. And astrobiology, actually, it's a very good example that I'm going to show you in a minute, that it addresses all these issues about our understanding of science literacy. So this is a report that compiled by a group of panelists based in US academies, and they look through different literatures of defining science literacy, and they summarize that science literacy in these 3 points. So science literacy we can summarize that as the understanding of scientific practice, like forming hypotheses, and it can go wrong, some basic content, and also understand this as a social process, how it interacts with the social context. So as you know, as you will see, talking about astrobiology, in particular virus, actually it's very match very well about these themes. So astrobiology actually is very exciting because when we know about whether life exists on other planet, we're also looking at our own. And in our own Earth, actually, you will see life are made of different building blocks. Those building blocks are amino acids. One of those most important things are amino acids. And we know that there are 20 types of them exist on Earth. So for example, our blood cells, red blood cells, enzymes, even that help you to digest, you get some sweet taste. So those kind of things are made of amino acids. And viruses are also made up of same amino acids. So, but the interesting thing is, throughout different times, astronomers has been able to understand how these kind of building blocks of amino acids come from space. So we use spectroscopy to actually can see some of these spectrum, the chemical signatures of these organic molecules. And the funny thing, it's the very recent time that in these 10 years and 20 years that astronomers has discovered these building blocks not exist on Earth, which come from space, extraterrestrial origin. So we are talking about the 20 types of amino acids you can find on Earth, but actually we have already found that other amino acids not exist on Earth from meteorites that falling down from space. And we also know that the DNA, RNA, they're making of nucleobases, that the ACTG, that thing that you heard sometimes, like codes, that actually make up of our genetic information, those kind of nucleobases. So these nucleobases, actually, you can also see those on Earth, not from Earth, nucleobases are falling down from space. And very recently, just a few months ago, there's a report that reported in the archive, still not peer-reviewed and published, but the first possible extraterrestrial protein, it's already discovered, also from a falling meteorite. So there's so many possibilities in astrobiology, and it's so exciting because we may one day see that there are other kind of life forms forming from these different types of building blocks that are not the same as our Earth. So talking about virus, one thing that virus you should know is the amount of virus actually is outnumber everything that you know from our Earth. It's much more than bacteria and much more than all other kind of life form that we know of. So there are scientists doing measurements by collecting the water in the ocean and try to estimate the number of virus. And just in 1 liter of seawater that already contain 100 billion virions, the virus that are not attached to any cells. So if you just multiply by the volume of water in the Earth, and you can get the numbers 10 to the power 31. If you just do some calculation, actually, you can do a very quick math. And this number, 10 with 31 power, it's a very large number. So imagine we put all the virus in line, in a straight line on our Earth. Actually, it can circle the Milky Way for 10 times. So this amount, large quantity of virus that exists in the universe actually interact with our environment for a long time and co-evolve with many things. And you can actually find virus in many extreme conditions, extreme places. They exist on not just sea ices, they exist in underwater, subsurface ocean. They are also can be found in very acidic volcanoes, hot springs, volcanic hot spring like the Yellowstone. And we can also find them on the ocean with the hot volcanoes. So these are actually extreme conditions, and viruses are basically everywhere. And virus, it's also a very interesting object, let's say, because it's what the difference between a virus and a normal cell is that virus don't have its internal mechanism to copy itself. So the main mechanism, for example, the most of the virus, it's, for example, flu. The infection cycle, it's they try to infect, they try to attach to a cell, and then they're going inside the cell, and then they steal the mechanism inside the cell, for example, the ribosome, to copy the genetic information, and then they try to release itself. So basically, it's you break into the house of your neighbor, and then you steal the photocopier and copy itself, and then run away, and then break down the house of your neighbor. So this is an analog of how most viruses work. But if this is not creepy enough, then you may actually know there's another special type of virus we call retrovirus. So retrovirus, the very common known one is HIV that causes AIDS disease. The difference between the retrovirus and normal virus is that this retrovirus not just go into the cell, but they are trying to attach itself and incorporate the genetic information into your own DNA. That means when the retrovirus HIV go into your body, it's bind itself into your DNA, and then the virus will become your body. And then it will still use the mechanism of the cell mechanism to replicate itself. But the difference is the virus will still continue to remain in your body. So if you imagine this cell, it's a cell for reproduction. That means this reproduction cell will be able to transfer to the offspring. Imagine because you infected with the virus, but the virus will pass to your son, your daughters. So the virus will stay with you forever. So this is a very creepy thing that if you imagine. But this is also how evolution works. Virus not just giving you damage, but this retrovirus also give you advantage. So one of the things that in evolution that really virus bring advantage to us is this. A very common example is the placenta. So when you think about this is a very special thing when we compare mammals and other animals. Other animals give birth using eggs, but mammals are giving birth inside your body with placenta that exchange nutrients. But have you imagined this is why this is possible? Because we have immune defense system. So if we have immune cells that see any aliens structures, actually they will attack it. But this placenta actually can help the our body to make these two different organisms that attach to each other without problems. And this is actually borrowed from a gene from virus, from a very ancient retrovirus. So the very ancient retrovirus that already go inside the body of a cell, and then it pass to an offspring, and there's a gene within that virus actually help to do that. If you can imagine virus, what virus do? Virus is attacking different cells and steal their machinery. But when they try to attack different cells, they want to avoid being detected. So they also have that mechanism to fuse themselves to other cells so that they're not being defensed. So this kind of mechanism passed to mammals, and mammals now passing through different generations. And because of this gene, we become human. Without the Asian retrovirus that helping to pass this gene to us, today there will be no any of us sitting here. So another game changer of virus for our understanding of virus is the discovery of giant virus. So virus, we thought a long time ago, they're very tiny and can be only observed using electron microscope. But nowadays, some very big virus has been discovered that just can be used from simple microscope, and you can see them, and they look like the same or very similar to bacteria, a big bacteria. And like, for example, you see here the Mimi virus and also Mendoza virus. So these are very virus discovered very recently, and the size are very big. So if you compare, this is a normal virus that we talk about, like HIV, and the big size virus has been found, and they are very old. For example, Pandora virus, actually they are kept in underneath the ice for 30,000 years, then in Siberia, and we discovered them. And if you compare them with the other bacteria like E. coli in our body, and also the human rabbit cell, actually they are not so small, they're actually very big. Not just because of their size is big, the genetic information, the gene that inside them is also a lot as well. So if you see some normal virus like HIV, they only have very few genes, and it's already enough for them to replicate. But for these giant virus, actually the number of genes is very large, and we know that these are very extreme. And the very recent discovery is that virus even can get sick as well. So we have virus attacking virus. These strange things that we know, we totally changed our understanding of virus in 10 years, 20 years ago. So actually, virus has been very fascinating thing. And one example in this discovery of the giant virus, COVID-19 virus here. So this is the virus that a giant virus that have a tail. So this is the body, but this is the tail. And we look at the genes that it contains. So I told you, so there are many simple viruses, they only contain very few genes. And they steal the machinery in a normal cell to replicate themselves. So they don't carry the replication machinery itself. They steal the photocopier from other people. But this giant virus that we discovered, actually we saw there are so many genes that are related to replication. For example, we have genes that are related to DNA replication. recombination, we have metabolism, we have carbohydrate metabolism. This is nonsense if you think that why viruses need them, because they just steal information steal the machines from their host. So why these giant viruses need them? So this is a very interesting question that scientists has been discovering and still unanswered. So another thing, if we look more details about virus, genetic structure, so there are different types of virus, but we look at life that we know, cells, no matter in bacteria or no matter in mammals, birds, or whatever, they are double-strand DNA. We use DNAs to code our genetic information to pass to offsprings. But virus also contain genetic information, but they are not only in DNA. Even in DNA, they could be in double helix, that same as animals, but they can be also just single strand, and they can also like even in circular form. But most of them are in RNA, and they can be segmented or even have a very strange double-strand segmented formation. So you can see that virus, when they co-evolve with life, actually, we will ask the question, why life only have double-strand DNA, but why virus can be so diverse with so many things? Is it virus contribute towards the formation of DNA? Does virus play a role in evolution at the origin of life? I think this is a very important question and we have to look at it. So when we talk about this new field of we call astrovirology, so studying about virus in terms of astrobiology. So we know a lot of unknowns that we don't know, and we want to answer them, and they are very important. So for example, human DNA that we just talked about, actually there are quite a big number of them are probably come from Asian virus that are transferred that to provide us to give different functions in the body. And there are also other things, because of time are constrained, so I cannot talk about them, but just give you some taste so you can actually look up different literatures. So virus can help recycling of carbon in the ocean, and it's very important in our ecosystem. They contribute towards photosynthesis. That means oxygen, our Earth. It can probably also fund defense, immune defense system in virus. So therefore, because of the discovery of the giant virus, so scientists have started talking about whether virus is the fourth domain arrived that are different from what we know, bacteria, eukarya, and also the archaea. So it's very important question. Is virus once alive and become the form that we know, or would it be different the other way? And scientists are asking question about the origin of virus. Is virus come first or does cell come first? And still we don't know. And probably it may come at the same time, or who knows, we still don't know. And some recent studies actually prove that viruses are very ancient. They may become since the first life form that we may know. So it's very interesting. And they actually even overthrow some of the textbook hypotheses. For example, we are talking about about the origin of life. We're talking about there's a theory that's RNA world, so life may come from RNA, but these discoveries has overthrown the idea. Textbooks is wrong. So, and we are also interested in looking for life and virus in other places, especially nowadays we know water, particular subsurface ocean, are very common in the solar system. In asteroids, in satellites and moon, for example, the Saturn's moon Enceladus, Titan, also in Jupiter, Europa. So these are very big, very interesting places to look for life. And we will also ask the question, if we can find life, can we find virus as well? So how to detect them? So these are ongoing questions. And going back to about the science literacy issue, that when we talk about virus, it addresses all the things. First of all, it integrates not just about astronomy, but you see their chemistry, physics, biology there. So learning about astrobiology, you can actually learn everything. And it's also see real science, how real science works, because they're debates. You see not just people giving you textbooks answers, but actually scientists are really debating about what's happening and their understanding. And it also, through this process, you can also see the context of science in the social world. So this is a really good example, and I believe that doing more outreach about virus, because it's also a hot topic recently, will attract more interest and bring in more science literacy in the society. So the second topic that I want to talk about is tourism. And we just heard about that tourism has been really shrinking. And this is just a quick graph that people summarized from Bangkok Post, that how the Southeast Asia rely on tourism. And Thailand, probably 20%, Cambodia, it's even more. But every country has quite a big percentage of tourism that depend on it. So how can we help astronomers help the tourism? And one idea that we are thinking is astrotourism. So astronomy can be also used for tourism. And here you can see some statistics collected by European Union that how the tourism are divided into different regions. So the blue dots are representing tourism in cities, orange between towns and suburbs, and green in rural areas. So you can see these are percentage share of nights that people spend in different countries. So you can see there's quite a diverse change in different countries. But the thing I want to point out is people want to go to dark places. If you look at the green dots, there are many countries that are very high in percentage, or even the orange one. So the diversity of tourism actually really, you can see that there are big attractions of people want to go to dark places. And the other question that we want to answer and look at is the type of different visitors. So we are now restricted by international travels, and probably even many countries are still having problem with lockdown. But during the post-COVID era, I believe that domestic travels and tourism will be more flexible. But international travel, it still will be a difficult problem in the future. So therefore, we look at the different types of visitors that exist in countries. So probably this is when we, without COVID, this is a summary of different types of kind of visitors. And you can see that even without international travel, there are still different groups of people might do tourism domestically. For example, workers, students, or even people just want to do recreation, vacations. So therefore, there's still a big demand in tourism domestically. And how we can make use of this and drive tourism using astronomy. So there are a few suggestions to look at astrotourism. We can divide them into, categorize them into different ways. First, so many people might think astrotourism might be, okay, go to see stars. But it's not just about that. Tourism can be divided into many ways. There could be cultural tourism, and that's maybe in that are related. For example, we have talking about orientations of temples, church that are related to the sun, that have significance in the ancient time, because when there are no electricity, that really the position of the celestial objects play a very important role. And heritage related, like archaeological sites and other important historical events. Like for example, in Thailand, we have the historical places with the king doing historical observations of eclipses. Those are very important heritage sites that we want to preserve and attract people to go there. And of course, natural tourism that we talk, there are so many people that are going for natural tourism now. They go to national parks, they want to see animals. And why don't they go to, when they see fireflies, why don't they see the stars at the same time? And we should set up different dark sky parks, sites to help people to do this kind of observation. People might also want to do recreational activities. So therefore we have museums, planetariums, observatories, space agencies, those can serve this purpose. There are also festivals, eclipses that people travel to faraway places to see. Maybe it's not possible after COVID that easy, but it's still kind of as tourism. And also might be the recent thing that's academic tourism. People might want to join because there are knowledge-based activities that might be related. So tourism can be operated in many ways. But to set up tourism area, there are different phases, and we have to understand that when we start from scratch, there may be need a lot of work, but there are also different phases. So this is a table that people summarize their different phases of setting up a tourism area. So like exploration, involvement, development, consolidation, etc. But the idea here is that when we start from zero, we should actually, of course, it may be not so easy at the beginning, but once some infrastructures or plans are started, it will become better and better. And the thing now, we want to see how we are going to do it with the industry. So when we talk about making astro-tourism, we need to work with different segments like accommodation, because if you look at the major economies that go into tourism, one big part, apart from flights, tickets, it's the accommodation. So how we can partner with different accommodation to adjust their housing facilities or the area to make it more dark sky friendly, and whether it's possible to do night sky observations. So that also means trainings. So we need accreditation. So we need branding. We need attractions. So we need destination. For example, Dark Sky Park. There are a lot of examples that showing that with destination of dark sky parks actually help to attract people. So in Thailand, we are also working on dark sky projects that will start to designate dark sky area. And for example, if you see below, there are two pictures that we just go to a national park very recently to help to change the lighting to a more dark sky friendly places. So there might be some work that we have to do on ground, like to help to make those areas that are more suitable for astro-tourism. That is not so easy once you overcome the learning curve. May be a little bit steep at the beginning, but once you overcome it, that will be very easy. Once you know the techniques of changing the light bulbs and training the people, and once there are examples showing that it attracts more tourists, then they will be attract other people on board. And also about tour guides that having stargazing operations like inside the hotel or in national parks or volunteers. So we need trainings and poverty certification system that help to recognize them. And we can also consider supply chains, like when we doing tourism, that people might also look up for basic observation instruments that are used in hotels and in national parks, or people want to buy some basic souvenirs like star maps and may want to read more about astronomy books. So it could actually form a supply chain as well. So all these ideas, it's important, and something even more like a recognition from tourism board will also be good. For example, in southern Thailand, we have the Songkhla Regional Observatory. So it is one of the recommendation by the tourism board in the south to recommend this is a touristic area that people can do. So all this kind of work will be important to help to build the astrotourism. So I just want to say that because time is limited, so I don't have enough time to go through everything, but this gives you an idea that you can look up more in detail. So because there's so many literatures out there, I just picked 3 of them for you if you want. First of all, it's a book from my actually previous boss. So he was the president of the IU First Commission on Astrobiology. So he wrote a book that's very interesting about organic matters. Another paper that is very important about astrobiology you can find, and also about the economics of tourism. I think that's also a very interesting book to read. So this is my quick ideas about what we can do in the post-COVID era. So doing science literacy as tourism. So if you have interest, I hope you will join us to develop more outreach materials and also develop astrotourism projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Silun. One quick question from Hakim. Do you think astrovirology should be pursued in the higher education institutions or research agencies? Multidisciplinary nature of this matter might encompass institutions which should take initiative. So this is actually really what I want to start with, because honestly, when I look up at literatures that talking about virus in astrobiology is very rare. So even astrobiologists in this world, not much of them work on astrovirology. So astrovirology is a very new research area. And you can see it's multidisciplinary, as Hakim just mentioned. This is extremely important, and we should bring in different groups of expertise to do that. So any particular institutions or types of institutions that should take first step? So as I'm aware, so the only institute that I'm aware now doing it's the NASA Astrobiology Institute. But we should actually partner with virus specialists and also astronomer, chemist to do that.
At Chiang Mai University, we also try to initiate astrobiology.
Yes. So if we in Thailand, we can start work with the Chiang Mai University as well. Right. Okay. So we'll start with our close partner in Chiang Mai University, and we'll keep you posted on the discussion. All right. So moving on to section 3, regional actions and cooperation. As I said earlier, this is the platform to create initiatives of the technology and development in order to attempt the role of astronomy in this COVID pandemic era. So here with us, again, Silun Shung, and also Professor Bunraksa Sunthorntham, who is currently the president of Southeast Asia Astronomy Network, or SEAN, and he is also the advisor of NARIT right now and former NARIT director. And also with us in this panel discussion, Professor Hakim Malasan from Institute Technology Bandung. So if all 3 of our speakers are ready, we'll give the floor to them.
Okay. Good afternoon from Thailand. So now we come to the webinar panel discussion on the regional action, particularly Southeast Asia, and also the cooperation in the era of the new normal. So as Neki already mentioned that in this panel, we have 2 panelists. The first one is Silun Shung, the outreach specialist from NARIT, and also Hakim Malasan from Institute Technology of Bandung, ITB, and also the Institute Technology Sumatra, ITELA. Okay, so welcome 2 of you, and I will be the moderator in this panel discussion. And we all know that the coronavirus outbreak has occurred since December last year in 2019. That's why we call COVID-19. And as Marie already mentioned in her talk, I think more than 23 million people suffer from the pandemics, and maybe nearly 200 countries affected from this coronavirus pandemic. But anyway, we still in a difficult time to prevent ourselves from the infection. We already postponed or cancel many meetings, many workshops. We have no international travel, and we have to work from home. School and university closed in Thailand, just opened recently, and we have to wear masks, keep social distancing, and many things, etc. But to keep our work going smoothly, we have to adapt ourselves actually to the new normal. We organize more online conference meetings. Yeah, right. This is a lack of close interaction, but we have to practice for the new normal. And also we have to work more isolatedly, the globalizations, but we still need more collaboration. So in the previous sections, we learned a lot of information. We learned that we can use astronomy for promoting the science literacy. Right? And yeah, you talk about astrobiology to explain about the nature of the virus, and also many more things about the science literacy that we do during this difficult time. Also, we learn about using astronomy in technology development and technology transfer. We talk a lot about the ventilations. We talk about developing some instrument that use the knowledge of astronomy. So what have been done in Southeast Asia region for the action and the cooperation in the difficult era of the new normal? So we have two panelists, and maybe Sileng, you can take a rest a bit because you just give a talk, right? So I would like to pass the question to Hakim. Yeah, would you give us some of your experience from astronomy action during the COVID era, or even the your comment for the post COVID era? What should we prepare for those situations? So may I pass the question to Hakim? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Boon and Zilong. Hi, everybody. Well, I might represent the most populous country in Southeast Asia, over 270 million people in Indonesia, and we are now suffering from more than 150,000 confirmed case in Indonesia, and the death toll is 6,700 more than. But at the same time, we have a high rate of recovery, over 111,000, something like that. So when we look at the typical characteristic of Southeast Asia, I think about the average countries in Southeast Asia. What I would like to point out is initiatives that mostly come from the bottom-up level. So what we think is very important not to create too much top-down policy to drive the people, but try to actually explore the indigenous, self-made, cheap protection for the people. So that is why in May, the Ministry of Research in Indonesia, they make a call for ideas how to fight against COVID by empowering the community within Indonesia. And I think that's a typical characteristic also in Southeast Asia. You cannot rely so much on the government to put a large amount of money for fighting against this. But with regard to the three characteristics that mentioned by Mary, I do agree that mostly we can approach this by exploring the hardware projects, modeling, which can be done by academicians. But the third one is very important for Southeast Asia, public awareness and education. So by education, I mean it is not the traditional way on how we educate people, but to solve this COVID problem first, the literacy and how to make a self-protection and self-manner in living betterly, that is something that we still strive to campaign for. Therefore, for example, Indonesia, Indonesia consists of 200 local language. We still need to educate Indonesian people on the very low and the very bottom level, how, for example, to make their own mask, a good mask for them, hand gloves, and how to behave healthy. So that's why this campaign are actually conducted by all sectors in Indonesia, including astronomers. And astronomer in Indonesia, astronomical institution, including also the amateur astronomers, I think they are very good in campaigning this because they are mostly public educators, public communicators. So if you look at many means in Indonesia, like social media, or for example, online conference, we have a pre-jamboree of amateur astronomy in Indonesia. This message is also conveyed to all the people. So that's why bringing this message to all the people on how to live healthy and how to create rather than buy a fancy mask, because actually we can use recycled things to make a very safe mask for us. That is, I think, the real contribution from astronomy that at the moment can be done for a large populous country like Indonesia. And then, of course, ITB is a technological institute, so that's why I like to mention also ITB also has this ventilator project, as well as, for example, the modeling itself is also conducted by mathematical department. But because this is mostly initiated by university rather than agencies, but I do see, for example, space agency people here, Lapan, my two colleagues are also in the forum here. So speaking about public education and public awareness, the use of application in the smartphone turns out to be very useful in Indonesia. This is initiated by our Ministry of Informatics, but mostly helped by people from the university. So we create a simple application for people to identify the surrounding and protect themselves, so that we can prevent, of course, the proliferation of this COVID case in many cases by protecting the surrounding here. So for a typical large country with a large population in an archipelagic country like Indonesia, this is basically what we're trying to do and try to empower the community. With regard to astrotourism and several kinds of tourism, the government now is actually encouraging people to try to have the creative industry. Creative industry means that we try to explore any means of tourism out of the box. For example, bringing the nature online to the people who like to come, try to provide tourism without, but of course, trying to get out from the box. I mean that try to promote or try to gain income from the industry, tourism, by not exploiting so much the standard way, like accommodation and transportation. So there are many creative ways in doing this, in bringing all this nature of Indonesia to people without, of course, asking the people to come to Indonesia itself in this era, because it's almost, it's still very dangerous to come to Indonesia in this time. But at the moment, only a few cities in Indonesia are now open for the school to come, people to come. So basically, that is what I can answer to Boon's question about what we are doing. And of course, we are now adopting the new normal, new the adaptation post-COVID. We are entering this despite of still climbing curve of COVID case in Indonesia, but we soon have to adapt ourselves for this. Thank you very much, Boon.
Okay, thank you. Actually, we have only one panelist from Indonesia. I'd like to hear also from other countries in Southeast Asia that what have they done in the COVID situation. And also after COVID, I'm not quite sure that that COVID-19 would help to us for the better development in astronomy or other sciences that would occur after the COVID. I think many things has to be changed. For example, now we do more online conference, online meeting, but I think in the future we can do both online and on-site meeting. So it's a kind of hybrid that sometimes, you know, I have a meeting in Bangkok and also in Chiang Mai in one day. So it's not possible for me to travel. So I can use online meeting for some other meeting that we can do in both in Bangkok and Chiang Mai.
How we can, you know, coordinate and make a synergy among projects.
Okay, so I'm not quite sure whether Seelan, you have any more idea of what going to be in the post-COVID era when the pandemic already stopped, and how do we get the new idea about the development of astronomy for the future?
Yeah, I think I just throw a few ideas here, and I would like to hear more about the discussion from the floor, but I just want to throw some ideas. And one of the main thing that for today, the purpose is to let us to brainstorm what is missing in this region and what should we do together. I just throw a few ideas that we're also working on. So we talk about now the physical contact will be difficult in terms of education and trainings and anything. So NARIT, we have a training center, we call the International Training Center of Astronomy under the UNESCO. And this is also one of the good time that we start to explore about online collaboration and trainings online. So we also start to work on with colleagues that develop ideas on courses and trainings that probably in the future that we can have run it online. But one thing that we have been thinking what missing most among us is hands-on experience. When we do online trainings, you can see videos and things, but labs and touching hands-on thing will be very difficult to replicate. So we are also thinking with some of my colleagues that we might actually able to produce some small kits that compose of, for example, optical devices that could be able to send it around that we can work on. So actually, that mentioned very earlier, the OAD has proposed a special call on projects that are related to astronomy within the COVID era. And there was one approved projects that OAD approved was using, we call it co-DIY mail, 20 mailbox. So it is an idea that building some small hands-on stuff that can send around, or people might be able to produce them so that they can have hands-on experience even in the difficult situation. I think that would be a nice idea. But more this kind of idea would be nice to have.
Yeah.
So another thing that people just mention a lot throughout this discussion, it's knowledge are transferable. That we talk whole day that learning astronomy is not just about astronomy. They are transferable knowledge. And how we can compile this that make people understand astronomy can be useful in other contexts will be also important in my opinion.
I see. Yeah. So do you think we going to do some kind of webinar more in the future after the COVID?
I think that would be nice. So if there are any suggestions that from the floor, what kind of topics that you would be interested in, that would be nice. So I have also read some information about how astronomers can help in hospitals. So there are lots of, actually the exchange of information among different organizations, it's very common, but what astronomers has been doing a lot is about big data handling. So they do about handling data and make metadata to sort stuff. And in hospitals, there's so many stuff that need to be categorized and processed, but they also need a very clear presentation. So astronomers has been helping. I heard it's from Australia. So they're doing something to how to help the hospitals do that. So this is one thing that astronomers also doing, but also in the other way around. So we also learn from hospital people that information should be concise up to the point. Otherwise, too much information will cause confusion. So,
actually, I'm also quite impressed about the application of astronomy to technology. Actually, this is why the government support NARIT for the development of astronomy, because astronomy, just like the basic platform, yeah, for knowledge, and then we add some technology development and technology transfer, and then on the top of the pyramid we have the innovation. I believe that technology has to be based on the basic science background, yeah, to get the innovation. How do you think, Hakim?
Yes.
For the technology development using astronomy for the future of the Southeast Asia region?
Yeah, I think yes, ventilator is the best example because it's quite. I mean, the result is pretty much measurable. But I think for such country like us, I think a very compact ventilator would be more useful rather than a big one. That is a challenge of Indonesia because to reach people who are suffer from COVID in the very remote area, we need to carry this ventilator as close as to the people possible. So there should be a technological challenge on how to produce a compact yet handy ventilator so that it can be used well, immediately to help people rather than try to bring the people to the big hospital, because you know the number of hospitals is also limited here. So I think mask technology on mask, sanitizer, a very simple technology like how to, of course, make a very quickly installed hand washer system using a pedal is also something that very much encouraged by us in Indonesia to be used, because clean water is also still an issue for Southeast Asia, to provide this to the people so that they can wash their hands cleanly, and of course with the good quality equipments would be some, of course, low cost technology that needed so much by most of the population in Southeast Asia. May I go back to the hands-on that mentioned by Zilong? So Zilong and when we just finished a very unique network of astronomy for school education in Bandung. So this is working together with IAU NASA. So this workshop is very unique and very different from the previous one, because what we do is we select 17 or up to 20 teachers who are mostly Olympiad trainer for students. And we send them actually kits or materials for them to develop or for them to construct sundial, astrolabe and everything by using paper recycled materials. So we send it by package, and then we decided to have 3 days workshop fully online. So what we do, we produce a video, translate all this in Indonesian language, and conduct 3 days. It turns out to be very exciting. So Professor Rosa from Spain, who is the president, she is so excited with this because she was also in that NASA workshop in Indonesia. And there is a plan that this model will be, of course, offered to Philippines in the near future. So I think Philippines is going to be the target of the network of astronomy for school education through using this online system, very unique online system. So what we need is a good transportation system, courier system to send all this material to the targeted teacher. And then using the online, a good bandwidth, we can actually give them a training using this hands-on method for them. So that's from me. Thank you very much.
Can I ask, is the mailing logistics problem exist now in Indonesia?
No, for courier system, everything is okay. We can send everything by courier system to all over the place in Indonesia very easily now and on time. It may take 1 week before reaching.
Is it possible to prepare kind of online material?
Yes, because also all the materials were purchased online. So basically, what we do, we appointed one company to take care of purchasing material and sending to all the teachers. Okay, and then what we provide is of course, a platform to do this conference with the teacher. And basically, we never even touch the material because the material bought by this company and send it directly to the teacher.
Actually, what I mean is if you can send a design or something and use the local material in the country, that would help.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the point. So that's why the material mostly consists of plastics and cartoon.
Yeah, I think we can find in the countries.
Yeah, yeah, and put everything on the cloud. It will be easy for teachers to download. And what we need is the good translation system, because mostly we translate this original English into Indonesian language. So that's why we need local instructor for this.
Yes. Okay. So do you have any more?
No, I think it will be good for open to the floor.
Yeah, right. Hakim, you have any more comments?
That's all. We have 10 minutes left, so I'd like to hear from the floor.
So we can go to the floor discussion now. I'm not quite sure whether do we have any question from the floor.
Yeah, but I think it would be nice that because I'm aware that the participants here come from different backgrounds. And it will be nice to hear about the situation in the country right now. And probably we can find some common thing, probably like Hakim just mentioned that he's sending some material to Philippines. So this kind of regional collaboration, I think would be nice to know or hear. Would there be any person? Sorry, can we switch to? Can we see the other faces?
You can go to the gallery view.
The gallery view only.
Yes. Only you, or you can see the list of participants here.
Actually, I see Rosario here, Rosario from Philippines.
Would you like to speak, Rosario? You can unmute yourself.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Rosario.
Hello, sir. Regarding the project that you have, I don't. Is there any
body who contacted you already with regards to the teaching materials?
Yes. This is actually managed by IAU Network for Astronomy for School Education. The president is Professor Rosa Maria Ros from Spain. So he might contact you because she already asked, actually not me, but my colleague contact. But mostly this is for secondary level of education. So I'm not sure whether she contacted Pagasa for this purpose, but maybe to the Ministry of middle level education. So I will bring her to you so that you can manage better the plan for having this NASA workshop in Philippines. But she mentioned that it would be maybe next year to have this.
It's impossible to have it now since I'm working from home, and the situation in the office is alternative working arrangements. Still 50% is going to the office, and we still have a strict health protocol until now.
Yeah.
So the observatory is also not accepting, and the planetarium is also closed.
Yeah, that's true.
For now.
Yeah. So the website of NASA is also available. You can easily Google from IAU NASA, NASE. Then you can find all the materials basically prepared in Spain in English. So what you need is to translate to your mother language that enable teacher to learn and that to get the idea of how to make astronomy equipments using recycled materials like papers.
So I will take a look at it.
I will help you, don't worry.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for the information.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We just talked to Losa Laws about organizing the NASA school. This year we plan to do the online school, and we agreed to organize in October this year. So she may propose to organize NASA school in other countries in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, other comments? So Putti, I saw you were here and saying something, right?
Yeah, regarding the materials for teaching, yeah, we would like to try to have a look at and try to localize in our country, if possible.
That's great. That's great.
So how's the situation in Myanmar?
The situation in Myanmar, you mean the COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
It's quite, compared to other countries, the number of people are quite low, and only just recent spreading, but they are also still under control. So looking very good. Hoping to clear very soon.
Excellent.
Good to hear that. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
Do you do any astronomy outreach activity in Myanmar during the COVID time?
Hello, Mr. Bungraksa. Yes,
Yeah.
we in COVID-19 we try to share more articles on our group, and for myself, I organize some live shows of the planets and live views of the moon, something like that. So we have never done that before. So this is how we can attract people via online, I think. So it's very successful. People really enjoy looking at the moon online, and they really want to come to our star parties when the pandemic is over.
Yes, so this is what I got, Boon and Zitlang. People are really looking forward to have not an online version of astronomical viewing, but the offline is very much needed by the people. So that's why they are very much looking forward to visit the observatory.
You're right, sir, because they want to have a look at through the telescope, and they want to experience.
Yeah.
We are very happy, and we are really using the telescope.
Yeah,
bringing to us by Mr.
Good to
Zeno.
hear.
Yeah, we always use at every star parties. Thank you very much, Mr. Zilong Chong and IAU and Mr. Bonraksa.
So we have a comment from Greeks. It's not in Southeast Asia, but I think it's also good to hear our speakers in other parts of the world.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
All right, so I'm a radio astronomer. I work in Greece currently, and I am a co-PI of the Hellenic Radio Telescope, which is what we're trying to do is to convert a redundant telecommunication antenna, a 32-meter antenna, into a radio telescope. So we were supposed to have our kickoff meeting of the advisory committee this September. Unfortunately, everything has been stalled because of the COVID pandemic. Just to say a few words about the pandemic in Greece, we were doing quite well since March, from March till May, because we had a complete lockdown. Unfortunately, Greece is a very touristic country. So you can imagine that now all the incidents have increased dramatically. We have a lot of COVID infected people because of the touristic places they have visited for vacations, etc. And our government is trying to restrict the whole thing now by doing gradual steps each time. Now, as far as astronomy in Greece, as I said, we had to stall the kickoff meeting, but what we had done with my co-PI, who is a radio engineer, we have approached the schools, so primary education and high schools, and we have tried to make an online tour to the radio telescope site. And also we tried to familiarize the students with what radio technology can do and all the associated engineering sciences with the radio telescope. And of course, we have shown what the radio telescope and what radio astronomy can do for Greece in particular and for the world in general. So this is what we have done so far. We also gave them a small replica cut out of the Thermopyle telescope, which is the name of our radio telescope, and for them to, cut and play with it. And we hope to start again the online tour and teaching and familiarizing all these pupils and high school students with radio astronomy and radio engineering and mechanics and stuff, and all the engineering sciences this autumn. So this is what we have done so far. Thank you.
So very nice initiative, especially I think we just talk about we need like hands-on stuff. So those like radio telescope cut out models will be nice to distribute around.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
Do we have any more comment from the floor?
One more. Okay. Are there any more comments? Or I want to make one point. It's you have to be aware that because the OAD, this is also OAD webinar, every year we have a call for projects. And I also want to suggest that people, especially in the Southeast Asia region, can propose projects, especially if you think you want to do kind of matching of collaborations. You can reach out to our office and we can see how we can help in different way to match you with different partners. Even if you want to expand your projects or discuss on or better shape, develop the project, we are happy to talk with you and really encourage everyone to come up with some bottom-up ideas, and we will happy to network with different people, in particular of this COVID era.
Okay, so at the end, I would like to thank the two panelists, Siling Sheng and Hakim Malasan, and all participants of this webinar. I hope the COVID pandemic will be over soon, or we can get the vaccine that protect ourselves, and then we can do more on-site collaboration for the future. So thank you very much for organizing this webinar. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. All right, thank you, everybody. We have come to the end of our webinar here today. Thank you so much, everybody. We see some comments and some more questions. Those can be sent straight to us. Let's at NARIT. We have the Facebook fan page. You can go to the ITCA page to get in touch with us. There were some comments and question is whether if NARIT is doing any collaborative projects in South Asia. Yes, we do with India and Bhutan. We're installing the all-sky camera in Bhutan, and in India we have a very close collaboration with ARIES, the Aryabhata Research Institute of Observational Science. So if you wish to be in touch with us even across Southeast Asia, you can of course more than welcome to reach out to us, and then we can go from there. I think the one very important message that we see from today is that how we do our part. You have seen a lot of efforts that have been put in place in the attempt to prevent the spread of this pandemic. So hopefully you'll be the ones who bridging the gaps in your own domain, in your neighborhood, in your country, in your workplace, and that we can contribute to our bigger picture in order to prevent the spread through astronomy and the related science, be it engineering, be it from the innovation and technology that we do. So hopefully this would be the very first domain to get started, and then to initiate a lot of ideas and exchange of methods that you can get in touch with us. And we'll be seeing a lot more webinars in the future. So for today, thank you so much, everyone. And again, please stay safe. And until next time, bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Here, I still remember the stage.
Thank you.
So how many?
Thank you.
Yeah.